I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real relevant and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. I am super thrilled because we're considering this Wellness Wednesday today, and we have with us some phenomenal guests, and they're beautiful, by the way. They are beautiful, in addition to just being well-educated. I know one is married. Are you married over there, Dr. Helen? You married?
Oh, very.
Both are very married.
Okay. We're both very happily married ladies.
That's a big deal, right?
26 years.
26 years.
I'm 15.
15 years.
Yes,
and counting. Congratulations to you both. I'm so proud of you, ladies. Listen, grab your virtual seats, everyone. We are going to be in for a tremendous treat today with Dawn Hilton Williams and Dr. Helen Stoddart. Am I pronouncing your last name right, Doctor?
Yes, you are. Yes, you
are. All right. These women, as we get ready to introduce them to you, are, again, in my opinion, showstoppers. But Dawn Hilton Williams is known as the Vegucator. She's a passionate advocate for wellness, equity, and a pioneer in plant-based nutrition. There's a big difference, y'all. We're going to talk about that too, because it gets under her skin when we start talking about some of the pharmaceutical stuff. We'll talk about this. Okay, with over 3 decades of culinary expertise and a certification in plant-based nutrition from Cornell, Dawn empowers BIPOC, which sometimes people don't know what that is. It's Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Okay, so. BIPOC communities to reclaim their health by honoring ancestral heritage and addressing systemic health disparities. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the other things that she's co-founded as the executive director of Power is Giving and her nonprofit organization, but I don't want to just read all of that. Her roles within Pride Magazine. We're going to talk about that today throughout this episode, but welcome, Dawn, to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you, Kim. I'm very pleased to be here, and it's an honor. You've done a lot of good work in the community yourself, and we appreciate you bringing us on today.
Oh, thank you. And Helen, Dr. Helen Stoddart, and you make sure you hyphenate it properly because she does not play with the hyphenations. I know we're being serious, but she like.
I learned that.
That's right. Because my father had 7 girls. We need to make sure we keep that in there.
That's right. So she's going to keep that name alive, and I love it. I honor you and salute you for that. At Pain to Wellness Healthcare in Madison, Alabama, Dr. Helen Stoddart empowers patients to overcome pain and to achieve optimal health. She's inspired by her parents' health struggles, some of the things that they've experienced, which we'll talk about during the show. And she's dedicated herself to understanding disease and the body's healing abilities. She's earned her MD and MS in anatomy from Howard University, go HBCU. She trained in dual residency at Johns Hopkins and Sinai in physical rehabilitation and internal medicine. And again, she has over 20 years of experience. We're going to hear about this throughout today's episode and how she blends her comprehensive diet and nutrition programs together as they collide. Welcome, Dr. Helen Stoddart, to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you so much. I am honored to be here. Thank you so much to be in the presence of these powerful women here. So I am totally excited.
Well, I'm excited as well. Now, I see somebody backstage saying, Jacqueline, how is it?
That is my sister.
Does she want to be on the show?
No, I think she's just tuning in.
Jacqueline, you got a VIP seat back there. I was like,
green room. She's in the green room, okay?
You're in the green room, girl. You watching with your, everybody pull out your beverage or whatever. What do y'all have over there?
I have some water.
I have some tea.
I have water.
And I know you have some do you have some food over there, somebody? Y'all made me hungry looking backstage. What are y'all doing?
I might have something that is high nutrient rich, low caloric, and
What is
vitamin.
that?
Then this is a tofu scramble.
Tofu scramble,
which is totally delicious. Dawn is an excellent cook.
oh my God. Okay. So a tofu scramble.
I
Tell
won't
us
eat
what.
it because it'll be in my teeth, but maybe.
Okay. Well, what is a tofu scramble? Tell us.
So it's like just like you scrambled eggs. You just use tofu instead, and you get the protein, the fiber, the phytonutrients, the minerals, the vitamins, and the antioxidant effects, all the benefits of plants without the harm of cholesterol and the other issues that you have with eggs. So, and then we don't harm the environment, and then we heal our bodies with something that's gonna feed our system. It gives good information to the body starting off the day. Got red peppers in there. It's all kind of good stuff in there.
That is awesome. And so what made you so passionate, Vegucator, about this level of plant-based nutrition?
So my husband had a health scare some time ago. I used to be one of those people that would see the vegans and like, oh my God, they're so weird. I used to literally think they were weird. Now, mind you, I always had sympathy for animals when I saw a chicken truck or those things. I would be for 3 days, that would last. And then I'm back to eating the animals I just had sympathy for. But just from a wellness perspective, I was just totally unknowing. I wasn't aware that of the issues that food was doing to the body. So I was feeding my family. I was a caterer and chef, and my husband had a health scare. He had heart flutters, they call them. And he also had, so we went to the cardiologist and they compared watches and they talked and there was jokes and he wore the little thing for 2 days. And in doing so, they found nothing, because it's like when you take your car in and then you find out there's nothing that happens then. So he was fine. Fast forward through about a month later, he had blood in his stool for 3 weeks. And he told me, as Dr. Helen would know, when did your husband tell me? If he had blood in his stool for 3 weeks, when did he tell me? Well, Let me tell you. He told me week 3. Sir, so you have blood in your stool. So of course I immediately think prostate cancer. I immediately think cancer. So go to the gastro. I'd already seen forks over knives. I just didn't think that applied to me because I was healthy. I bought Amish butter and organic eggs, and I went to the fishmonger and bought all this expensive butcher wrapped food as a caterer and at home, knowing that that wasn't for me, but in fact it was me. So I immediately threw away all those things and signed up for a class at Cornell. And that changed my life. Whole food plant-based nutrition course. I wanted to learn how to teach other people. And of course I had to tell my clients that I could no longer sell or serve animal products. And I lost 99% of my business. I think I had 1 or 2 clients left in a matter of 30 days.
Wow.
So all of your clients pretty much just dissipated because they were like, well, if you're not going to be dealing with anything that's non-plant-based, we're out of here. We have to have.
I was eco-friendly. I had these cute little bamboo plates and these birchwood forks, and I was serving up this Parmesan crusted salmon and herb crusted chicken and these things. And of course I gave vegetables, but I didn't know how to make vegetables the main dish. And it just was foreign concept for them to now have me cater only vegetables. It didn't make sense to them in 2017. And so they let me go, which was fine because I took a year and I went to every plant-based conference that was where physicians were getting CEU hours. And I went there as a non-physician and I immersed myself in whatever they were learning. I wanted to learn what they learned. I didn't care that I wasn't getting any CEU hours. I didn't know, I'm a bachelor's degree in political science. I didn't need that. I needed the knowledge. So I figured God let me be free so that I could learn, so that I could teach my community what I learned. That's awesome. I think, the responsibility as a matriarch and as a Black woman.
That's an incredible story, first of all, because a lot of times people have to have a benefit to go to a conference of that magnitude and know that I'm sitting through this lecture, I'm learning, but I'm also going to benefit from getting my CEU credit hours. And in your case, you were like, it's not even about that for me. It's just about me becoming more educated so that I can educate my people. Period.
Once I got that whole food plant-based nutrition course at Cornell, best money I ever spent. That made me want to get more information. I was like a sponge. I couldn't meet enough doctors and learn enough about, this is how I met Helen. I went to I live to meet people who are like-minded and like-spirited, to be honest, but that's another show.
That's
But
good. That's good. And I see, just so y'all know, I see all kinds of people popping backstage. Dr. Helen, you have an entourage. They're like,
These are my support, my family. They're so supportive.
your people back there, they supporting big time. I see Symphony. I see I Am Beloved, be beloved. I see all kind of people that's been popping backstage. Y'all,
my daughter is there.
yeah, you let me know if y'all want to pop on screen at all. But other than that, you're welcome to be in the virtual studio audience and just enjoy the show. And I see you all and I acknowledge you all. And all of you that are in the studio audience, I do just want to take a moment to just let you all know that I truly appreciate you all being here today. And I'm really grateful to see you all. All right, so let's talk to Dr. Helen. I wanted to find out from you, what made you, you said your parents were having some health struggles. What made you become adamant that I have to find a solution, not just for my parents, but for other people as well?
Well, the unfortunate thing is that I learned about it too late because for my mother, when I was in high school, or when I was younger, actually, my mom developed type 2 diabetes. And at that point, they were just saying that it was a little sugar. And so we were just like, a little sugar. And, all I think about is like, I kiss my husband, that's a little sugar before I go to work. And what I realized is that as the years went on, there were more and more things happening, more and more side effects of having a little sugar. It was full-blown type 2 diabetes. She had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. She was overweight. But let me tell you, like, if anybody thinks they have a good mother, now I had the best mother like world, right? And so it was really, really hard that I had to deal with my mom being so sick. And then I go to medical school, I'm learning things about the heart and I'm learning things about the body. And my mother is suffering from the things that I'm learning about that I can't do anything about. And I remember going to I was on my cardiology rotation. I talked to the cardiologist who was my proctor, who was the over that department. And I told him about my mom, and I told him about, at this point, she had developed congestive heart failure, and she had been in and out of the hospital so much that it was almost like she was in the hospital more than she was at home. And here I am in Washington, D.C. She's in Indiana. So like all kinds of things are going through my head. I talk to my attending and I tell him what's going on. And he said, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your mother is going to die. And all I could think about was I was just like, my head was just spinning. It was just so much going on. And I didn't know. I'm learning about the heart, but I can't do anything about my mother's heart. And she was on medication after medication after medication. Nothing changed her situation. It was just treating her symptoms. And I might say not very well, because she was still going in and out of the hospital for fluid and for lumps. So I remember being in California, and I remember losing my mom while I'm in California. I'm on the phone. My sister tells me that I lost my mom. I'm screaming. I just didn't even realize that I didn't even realize that much pain was inside of me. And to hear that high-pitched screeched voice coming out of me because of my mother was absolutely the most devastating thing I'd ever had to deal with. Nobody wants to lose their mother, especially when you have a good one. And then a year later, my dad, who had prostate cancer when I was in high school, had a resurgence of his prostate cancer. It was in his liver, lung, colon, prostate, and bone. It was horrible. And my sister Jackie, who's out there in the audience, she was at the Mayo Clinic with him, and she said she called us and she said, my daddy's gonna die. She saw like all of this cancer in his lungs and all over his body, and we were just like devastated. And we had just lost our mom, and we're just like, what in the world are we going to do? And we start finding, like, researching. We found a place. They completely changed his diet.
Okay.
Completely changed. When he went there, I remember talking to him on the phone, and his voice was all weak and like feeble. And then 2 weeks later, I'd call him again, and he's like, hey, what's going on? I was like, well, what just happened here? I mean, like, he said, I don't know. I've been eating stuff I've never seen before. He said, I've been exercising. This food, he said, I don't even know what it is. And my dad, who was a meat and potatoes man all of his life, started changing the way he viewed food and what he did with it. My dad had 6 months to live. After he went to that place, his life was extended 11 years. And I said, from that point, there is something about this food, because he couldn't tolerate the chemo by itself. That food really helped him to be able to tolerate that and to be able to cleanse his body and to become a better person. And he was then able to be there for my graduation from medical school, which I lost my mom before that. He was there to walk me down the aisle for my wedding to my favorite husband. He was there to witness the birth of my daughter, who's on the line, my firstborn daughter. And he was there to witness the birth of my second daughter. And I just wanted to just thank God, like all of these things were happening because he just decided to make some simple shifts in his life, and that extended his life. And all I thought about, wow, if we had known this when Mom was alive, then my goodness, we would still have both our parents.
Right.
Wow.
You gotta sit here crying. You gotta sit here. I'm up here crying. Lord, I know Kim's about to cry. Helen, you gotta prepare me before you tell these truths. You know, I cried when I saw her video, Kim.
I'm gonna draw my red glasses, girl. You got my red glasses everywhere.
Red glasses, so call it come down. But
let me tell you, it took me years before I could talk about it without crying. Like there were years that I couldn't put my mom or my dad's name in the same sentence with death. Like I was speaking about them in present tense. Mom said this, my daddy said this. I mean, it took me a long time to be able to say it. I might sound strong now, but it has not always been that way.
Yes.
That is, you know what? You know how you don't normally leave a host just speechless, but I'm literally speechless because sometimes when we as onlookers see what a person has become, this is this wonderful Dr. Helen Stoddart and who you are today, right? And that's what people see. They be like, having their own theories and their own ideas and fascinations of what makes you who you are. But on this show, how we balance our lives and what we've had to overcome to become who we are today, this is the exact way that I want the show to go, because this gives people the true background, the backdrop to understand why you're so passionate about what you do. And so you can't go through this life without making this a part of your legacy, your existence, your calling. Right. Leaving no stone unturned, all because of your mom and dad. And even in the story that you shared, the miraculous miracle working power of God to show you that he could go from somebody human saying 6 months to living 11 more years.
And full years.
But that wasn't, so God gave us that in the word in Genesis. This wasn't something that he didn't tell us at the beginning. We just overlooked that chapter, went on to all we had to do is go to Genesis 1:27 through 29.
That's right.
If we would just obey the word, and if you're not Christian, okay, whatever, any book that's written will speak about the plants being healing. And that's what healed. God gave us the food as our meat.
That's right.
So
this is such an inspiration. I'm inspired by my own episode here. With you on here. You know how you be like,
Helen, I mean, I'm not gonna make you choke and scramble. You got my eyeliner. I'm gonna get you later, Helen. You got my eyeliner all messed up, Dr. Helen.
This is truly a wonderful episode.
Yeah.
So your mom is celebrating you from heaven, clearly, Dr. Helen. And so she's able to be one of your cloud of witnesses. And I do believe that you will reunite with your mom again one day. Yes. Sure.
Absolutely.
God is not a man that he should lie. So I believe
absolutely
he's prepared a place for us. And so your dad got to witness some monumental moments in your life. Yeah. And hence you went on to be this medical physician and excited about your passion. What do you do as the main thing to help people understand how to overcome this pain that they live with on a daily basis so that they can live more pain-free or more pain tolerable?
Well, I am by trade an interventional pain doctor. So I've been practicing that. So I'm the one that you come to if you have back pain or arthritis or carpal tunnel, and I'm doing procedures on you to improve your pain. And here's what's very interesting is that I started instituting some lifestyle changes into some of my patients, and I noticed that they started needing less procedures. And I was like, wow, what is going on here? And you know, it's almost like I was shooting myself in the foot because, right, I make money off procedures, right?
Right.
But the thing is that I'm so much more concerned about your health than my money, because I think that it's important for you to have overall health. I realized that what I was doing was I was making your pain better in the short term by giving you my steroid injections, but I was not making it better long term. And so when I finally figured that part out, I started instituting some other things. So I started finding some anti-inflammatories that were more natural, that were nutraceuticals that had the same effect as the steroid, but didn't have the side effects, because I knew the side effects. I would have to go in front of my patient and tell them, I said, I just want you to know, you're going to have the steroid. It may make your blood pressure go up. It may make your sugars go up. It may make you have, if we do too many, you can have something called avascular necrosis of your hip. So you'll have to have a hip replacement, or you might cause a little spotting or something, but just know it's going to pass. It's going to be okay. And I went from that to saying, hey, I got this one that's an anti-inflammatory, works really well. You should notice a difference in the next 3 days and you'll be good. Right. There was a big difference in having to tell them all of these different side effects that they were going to have to deal with, especially my people that were diabetics, because remember, diabetics were like really close to my heart, because I know that I'm going to give you an injection, your sugar's going to go up. And some people's sugar went up way out of control. All right. And so you're just like, okay, just make sure you increase your insulin. I'm telling you to increase the medication to cover what I knew was going to happen to your blood sugars.
Wow.
Make sure you take your blood pressure medicine, because I know it's going to make your blood pressure go up. And so after seeing all of that, and then instituting the lifestyle changes and seeing how people's lives changed from that, and they stopped needing me, I was like, well, at least stop needing me for injections.
Right.
My practice started transforming more to wellness. My practice has always been called pain to wellness. I knew that my goal was to get people to wellness, but it even surprised me because I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that food had such an impact on your health. And I'm talking to, I was in a large practice with all these orthopedic surgeons, and I was talking to one of my colleagues, and I was telling him how I wanted to change this person's lifestyle and their diet or whatever. He said that has nothing to do with it. I said, what do you mean? What do you mean it has nothing to do with it? You're saying that if I put trash in my trash can and I go to empty it, I'm going to get something better than trash? It's all trash.
That's right.
So I can't expect to put bad things inside and expect my body to do good things for me.
That's right. Good. This is a great educational session. Someone wanted to know to what clinic. Jerry. Hey, Jerry, my heart sister. She said, what clinic was your
Jerry?
She's awesome. I love Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry and I went to the same church for a long time.
Okay. And we were a part of eWomen Network together. She was a part of that organization. I'm actually the managing director here in Charlotte, North Carolina for eWomen Network. So anyway, she wants to know what clinic was your dad receiving care?
He was followed at the Mayo Clinic.
Okay. Mayo Clinic. DJ Stanford. It's all kind of comments over here. Thanks for your response. Someone said, thank you so much for your response. I think some prayers were being requested. So we are praying for your situation on Dolly. And I see that you said that you requested prayer. So praying right now. And I know it's a long paragraph, but I see that you were asking for prayer. And we're asking right now that God meet your needs, and whatever you stand in the need of, that need be met. And we are praying for you here on the Kim Jacobs Show. And I want you to know that. Okay. And I see all of your comments. We're going to just learn more from Dawn Hilton Williams, because I want to hear about the fact that you started a nonprofit organization that is the Power is Giving. So talk to us about Power is Giving. I almost said the power of giving, but it's the power is giving.
The power of giving is same. It's all the same concept. Power is giving. So Power is Giving was actually started when I wasn't vegan at all in 2014, 2011 technically is when it really started. My daughter had an opportunity. She was a tennis player in USTA at that time, maybe 15 years old. And Maria Sharapova, who was a Grand Slam champion in tennis, she won a essay contest. To hit with Maria Sharapova. She flew down to Greenville, South Carolina. Tennis Channel came with her. We had 6 months to prepare before she came. She was so overwhelmed with the opportunity. She said, "What do I need to do?" She's going to buy her a necklace. This is what she said. This woman has millions of dollars. I said, "Nadia, she doesn't need a necklace, ma'am. She can buy her own necklace. What do you think would be a better idea?" I said, "Why don't we look up what she loves, what she's passionate about?"
Mm-hmm.
So she was a UN ambassador for what's going on in Chernobyl, the still people having the effects of Chernobyl and that kind of thing in maternal women's health. Mm-hmm. So I said, why don't you talk? So of course I'm leading. Why don't we do a fundraiser,
right,
for her to help to donate to UN? I ended up contacting her agent, who and head Tennis Channel, and they said, "Oh yeah, that's fine. We'll do a big check." You know, they thought it'd be $500 or something like that, because this is all going to go live on Tennis Channel. Tennis Channel came with her. It was $6,998, and she had just lost to I'm a tennis family person, right? So it just had terrible loss at Miami Open, which is a lead up to US Open, and in doing so, she was so down in the dumps. But when she came and she saw that check for her foundation, the foundation that she supported, she just couldn't stop crying. She was just surprised. So they ended up doubling that. And then the donation was to $15,000 to UN Ambassador Program. And it helped the women who had maternal health issues in third world countries. And it helped people still fighting cancer and things in Chernobyl. So the effects are still there. So that got Nadia excited about giving. And then we started with tennis. So we would go to the community centers and do tennis. And this is how Power is Giving started. It did not start with food.
Wow. That's awesome.
It didn't start with
that story, just so you all know, is on powerisgiving.org. And there's a video there as well. And how this happened in 2011 when 15-year-old Nadia received this grand prize from Maria. Wow. So this is a big deal. And I love a visual. So I wanted to just show you.
Yeah, it went viral. It was big at that time, whatever viral meant at that time. And, a long time ago. But we ended up working with, because it was such a big deal in Greenville, she got a proclamation from the city. And we started working with city council. And we went to the community centers, the Black and brown, and the community centers in our communities. And she wore her tennis outfit and showed them how to be fit. And she showed them her information. And we focused on mentorship. And she brought a mirror with her to everyone. And she made them stand in front of the mirror and say what they're going to be. And that she was proud of them and she hugged them, little things like that. And that's what she did. And then she would do fitness with them. We went to all the community centers until she went off to college. And then summers we did a tennis camp. And then she went off to college as a Division I tennis player. I was like, oh, what am I supposed to do now? I have my own whole business over here. I have Urban Eats. I'm supposed to keep this up. I was keeping up the 501c3 because I immediately formed that. And I just started doing what I did, which was food. Wow. And cooking. Teaching cooking, because she was gone, and in the summers she would come back. So I had to add another program. And in adding the other program, it became the primary program, because you just put in what you love and your passion is helping community. So was Nadia's. She was gone. So in the tennis summer programs were big. We have 4 a summer. And in the year round, I was doing cooking demos and teaching. And then when I went plant-based, I did a whole lot more of that. And then tennis still goes on with Power is Giving. It's called Ed Fit and Fuel Tennis. So we have 4 programs. Ed Summit is one of the 4.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So, I mean, this is like a never ending situation, because you can build so much on Power is Giving and make it just continue to happen for the rest of life, and then pass it on to your family. So when you all are doing the things that y'all are doing, how are you dealing with it from a legacy building perspective? Because I hear legacy building in this, in both aspects. And you can go ahead and start, Dr. Helen, from your perspective.
I'm sorry, I was just in awe of Dawn. I'm just sitting here listening to, I just think about, Dawn has so much energy that she's like doing all of this stuff and doing them all well. Right?
Very well.
She's doing them all well. I mean, Dawn, I mean, when we met, Dawn, I mean, I'm in awe of her. I just want to say that. Now,
well, before then, now that you said that, let me say this too, because I'm equally in awe of her, if not even more in awe, because when I've been reading about this whole background and having you now here in person, Dawn, what it makes me think of is a person that is determined to not leave anybody behind. So
not in our communities. I think it's our job to take care of our communities. But I connect only with people. Let me tell you how God is. And people don't like to use God and whatever name they want to use. Mm-hmm. You call the universe, whatever you call them, whatever you call it.
The universe is a place,
however it works in my life, connects me with people who are passionate about the community and passionate about family and passionate about legacy. I don't meet people go away very quickly that are not. I don't spend any time. I don't have time. I'm 56. I met Helen. I knew I was going to meet Helen before I met Helen. I had a program called Reverse It before I met Helen. It was in my mind.
Wow.
Which makes me very proud. Because Helen is Reverse It. You see how that works? And then deeper introduce you. We have to do what we need to do for our communities. And there is we can't be tired. You see what's happening in this community. As Helen said, I don't know where we are in this cycle of life, but I know that we have a responsibility to our children, and we have a responsibility not to leave them without water and to leave them in a planet and in national debt over food and nutrition, using 70% of the land for animal agriculture. Mm-hmm. 1/4 of the fresh water for animals. So anyway, I don't know how I got off that. Helen make me cry. So let me talk about awesome. Helen is awesome. I met her. I intended to go to that conference so I could have her at my conference. And that's what's happening Saturday.
That's what's happening Saturday.
When I heard her YouTube, she had me in tears. Mm-hmm. Just like she had me today. And I didn't know until maybe 3 weeks ago that we both were talking about Reverse It.
And speaking of Reverse It, I do want to just make mention of the fact that this is Dr. Helen J. Powell Stoddart's book, Reverse It, How to Reverse Type 2 Diabetes. It is available on Amazon. So make sure, I'm a sleuth, so I'm forever going and finding different stuff. I was all over Google looking at stuff. So make sure you all get a copy of that book. And if they want to get a copy directly from you, Dr. Helen, how would they do that?
They can contact us at Pain, 2, wellnesshealthcare.com.
Pain,
or they can,
2 at
wellnesshealthcare.com. Or they can call us at 256-325-5700. And we will be in North Carolina this weekend, and we've sent some books ahead of us. And so if you are coming to the Ed Summit this Saturday, the books will be available there as well.
Okay, I'm going to put contact Dr. Helen here, and then Pain, 2 at wellnesshealthcare.com.
No, Pain, 2, wellnesshealthcare.com. My practice is called Pain to wellnesshealthcare.com, but it's the 2. It's not a TO.
Okay, and then 256-325-5770.
5700.
5700. Let's make sure this is accurate so y'all can get directly in contact with Dr. Helen. And I see the books that you're holding them up. So when y'all go to this conference this weekend coming up, you will be able to make sure that you get a copy of the book right in person if you're at the conference. In the meantime, you can contact Dr. Helen. Pain 2, 2, wellnesshealthcare.com. Phone number 256-325-5700. And make sure that you are in attendance at this conference this weekend. And that's what we want to make sure we talk about as well. So let's talk more about this EDD, which is Eat, Drink, Disrupt Summit. What made you name it Eat, Drink, Disrupt, the summit?
So the reason, it was very clear to me that with the ED, because every one of my programs the acronym is ED. Eat, we eat. That's the thing we love to do. I love eating. Mm-hmm. So eating healthy, drinking in the knowledge from my physicians and my expert professionals, and disrupting systemic inequities in our communities. That's just what it was. Eat healthy, not clean, whole food, plant-based nutrition that is evidence-based. Drink in the knowledge from people that you respect. People respect doctors. People, if I say something, it's very different than if Helen says something.
That's right.
Because Dr. Helen is Dr. Helen. So even if she had not had any hours in nutrition in medical school, the assumption is that she knows. This in 27% of medical schools offer one course. The other 77 offer none. Doesn't matter. It's the way people think. So that's why I bring in these clinicians. So that's why knowledge, drink in the knowledge, and then disrupt the systemic inequities going on in our communities that have created apartheids all over the world. I mean, especially in the United States. That's why we have the issues that we have. So it's eating, drinking, and disrupting. And it's November 16th at Central Piedmont at Par Center, less than the price of a lunch, $20 to come in, and you get chefs are producing whole food, plant-based food. We don't use faux meats or any of those things. We don't allow those things because it's just highly processed. And I am dismissive of highly processed food. I don't care what it is. It may be, quote, healthier than animal protein. It is, but why would we switch one bad situation and habit for another? We need to begin to be intentional about wellness so that our families can see us doing that. So I'm just excited about it, bringing in Helen to talk about reversing diabetes, bringing in Dr. Cliff Morris to talk about reversing heart disease, and then financial wellness is important because it causes stress. Stress is a real thing. So we're bringing in from DC, Tony Abrams. He is 40 years in the CPA and the investment advisor, series 6 and 7. So we're bringing them in. We're bringing in these top chefs. We're bringing in celebrity host Javon Johnson. If you're looking to see what happened on the Oval next season, you want to know what happened? Maybe he'll tell you, whisper in your ear what happened on the Oval next season. He's already shot the episodes, I'm sure. So maybe he'll tell you something. And then we have cancer survivor Harold LaFall. Just on a segment with me on WCNC. This man is a wonderful soul. He reversed his cancer, prostate, I think it was stage 3. And he is an author of 6 books, and he'll be signing books. And he's just a really, really nice guy. Anybody that comes to these, I'm very particular. All of our vendors I select.
That's good.
All of our caterers, all of our chefs are paid as caterers so that they can provide food with no additional cost. You don't have to pay again. You don't have to come in and then pay again. You get 5 ounces of food. 3 different stations. I mean, this is everything you'd want it's everything I ever wanted to go to in a conference.
It sounds like it, but you know what? I actually, and Mackenzie, I'll take care of this because I know I didn't tell you this in advance, but I'm going to go ahead and play something for a second. This is actually a recap of 2023. So let's play this right quick. Hold on. Here we go.
You are a sleuth. You're a sleuth. You're a sleuth. If I need to find somebody, Dr. Helen, we need to find somebody. We need to get Kim because you just get in. Okay, I appreciate that. So that was the auditorium view. That was where the vendors are. The vendors, not the auditorium. That was the lobby. So we have 20 vendors. We don't charge our vendors. We select our vendors because they have to be like-minded. I don't like spending time with people who aren't like-minded unless I'm trying to plant a seed to change their mind.
That's good.
They don't have to be like me, but I need to plant the seed, and you got to be open. And if it's not fertile ground, I don't have time to play around.
That's good. That's good. I have one more video too.
They make it
I have
right.
another video too, because you have presenters, and I wanted to just play this right quick as well, because
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I like some incredible, an incredible time, everyone. So let me put this up before I play this video. Everyone, make sure you take a moment today. Scan that QR code. The tickets are less than a lunch, a meal that you would pay at whatever place you go to eat. It's a lot cheaper to come to this event. It's a gift. It's really a blessing and a gift to you to be a part of this EDD summit that's happening on November 16th. So if you already know that you're coming this weekend, put it in the comment section. I'll be there. I got my ticket. I gifted a ticket to a friend. I tagged some friends, some family. Let us know that you're going to be in the house on November 16th. Scan that QR code. You are going to be in for a treat. And let me also let you see how the presenters, I had a video here. Yeah, here we go from 2020.
And welcome my new friend, Dr. Cliff Morris.
That stuff that comes out of the ground, if it comes off a vine, a tree, or a bush, it is there to make our bodies new and to make our bodies. We're going to talk a little bit more about it.
Discussing about sustainability is preparing the next generation.
Does that change your prognosis? And can some cancers actually be cured on a plant-based diet alone?
And you know what? I love that video, because one of the key comments that was stated in there is, can some things be cured just based on a plant-based diet alone? And that kind of transitions me to a question that I have for you, Doc. I said doctor because you already got your CEU credits and everything, even though you're Dawn. I get it. But you done been to all the doctor retreats.
Oh, don't call me a doctor. Listen, just like people, you shouldn't call yourself a chef. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Go ahead. I'm not at all. I am a bachelor's degree, and I have a certification in nutrition professional. I don't want to. Those people you all went to school. They went to school for 8 years. Mm-hmm. We got to be careful.
That's
like,
right.
I might be doctor adjacent, but I invite them because I'm not one.
That's good. I'm so glad you said that, because give proper honor where honor is due.
Yeah, and I know a lot, but they know more.
Well, actually, Dr. Helen, you're on as well, so make sure that you chime in on this. But my question is, do you think that plant-based diets can lend to an outcome of healing, almost, in my opinion, or reversal of some of these diagnoses? Are you able to speak to that at all from your perspective?
I am, but I think we have to make a distinction. We have to make a distinction between plant-based and whole food plant-based. We also have to make sure we make the distinction that we're talking about natural foods, not foods that have been chemically treated. Because pesticides on the foods don't add flavor, but they do add radicals. And I say that loosely, free radicals. And what that means is that they add toxins to your food. We know that these things are things that actually cause cancer. So I always recommend, make sure your food is free of toxins as much as you can, but make sure that they are the foods that are whole foods, and that they're whole foods and plant-based. Because I can eat a burger that's plant-based but it's not a whole food plant-based. So we have to make sure that we know that there's a distinction between the two. We're talking about foods that come out of the ground or off of a tree. My goal is, and Dawn said, don't call yourself a chef. I am a self-proclaimed chef because I do too. But my goal, my goal is really to get those foods out of the ground and off of tree and put them together in such a way that you don't miss the fact that it's not meat. I have had people come to at our house, we always have these dinner parties. And I have people come over, and I didn't realize that there was something different that I was doing years ago. And people would say, do you cook like this all the time? And I'm like, cook like what?
Right.
I didn't realize that it was something different. I don't, I like to get my food fresh off of a tree or out of the yard or, in the grocery store, obviously, but these are things that come out of the tree and out of the yard. And then I started growing my own things. So those are things that you can actually take those foods and put them together and make them in such a way that nobody will even care that they don't have meat, because people most often want to make sure that their food is delicious.
Okay.
And when I started this journey 25 years ago, I'd go to like, hey, I'm eating, I'd like to get something. They didn't cater to you, and they would like give you like this like iceberg lettuce salad with like a couple of pieces of tomato and maybe an olive, and
Right.
olive salad dressing. And I'm like, but I'm hungry. I want to eat some food. And so I started developing my own, that's where things actually happen, is when there's a lack somewhere, you start to do it yourself. And so I started putting these whole food plant-based things together. And that's where the recipes out of that book that you see in my upcoming cookbook, it has those kinds of things in it. So whole food plant-based food is very, very good at killing those toxins that are in our body. Those are the free radicals. So the whole food plant-based foods have something called antioxidants in them, because the toxins are oxidants. That means that they will cause inflammation. But whole food plant-based foods will stop the inflammation. And what we know is that most of the diseases that we're dealing with, all of them, are due to inflammation in some way or another. And so when we connect with the idea of putting these things that fight disease, then we can know that they help us with disease. And God is so, I like to say God is color coded, because he'll like have like these red foods are going to help you with circulation. Blood is red.
Right.
These white foods help with with immune system. Our immune system. I see that, right. There are foods that he's made that look like a brain and it helps with your brain. I mean,
right.
There are foods that help with fighting cancer. They're orange, right? And so he does all of these different things, these orange foods. So in my program, I have people putting green foods. They're detoxifiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Detoxing means that I'm taking away toxins. And
That's
so
good.
we detoxify, right? And so we add the red foods, the green foods, the blue foods, the purple foods, all of these different colors. We want an array of colors, a rainbow of colors of food, because they all have different antioxidants that fight different diseases that we have to contend with.
Yeah, you can't help but learn so much today on this episode, because when you said foods that look like a brain is what help the brain, I was like, oh, that's good. I never thought about it. So you're like cauliflower and broccoli, and so I hadn't thought about it from that perspective until you just said it. And I'm whole 54 years old and hadn't thought about it from that perspective. So what were you going to say, Dawn?
So there are over 7,000 studies, just to piggyback on not piggyback, Lord, okay. Just to follow up on what Helen said.
Just the veggie back on.
The veggie back. There are over 7,000 studies that have been shown, particularly their orange study. So there's lifestyle change. It's not a diet. So for one thing, I want to just start there. It's a lifestyle.
Okay.
It's not just the nutrition is 90% of it, right? But we still have the other lifestyle factors. But if you change just the food, you're going to see a reduction in risk factors for chronic disease by up to 90%.
That's
whole
crazy.
Plant-based.
Yes.
If it went to a plant, you don't need it. Whether it's the piglet or isolated pea protein, it doesn't need to go to the plant first. It needs to go minimally processed legumes, nuts, beans, seeds, fresh fruits, and vegetables. These are studies that are findable. The China study, the Nurses Health Study follow-up study, the Orange study, the Pritikin study. All these studies are there. We're just physicians like Helen. There's just you have big broccoli. Have you heard of that? Or have you heard of big pharma? Right? You ever heard of big cauliflower? No. And I say that, kind of jokingly, but there's not enough lobby money to promote this. And there's no benefit. There's no benefit to curing people of disease. Disease management is much more, it helps to keep the funding cycle going. And it's not that people are cruel in that aspect. They're just doing what they know. But
they're just doing what they know. Exactly.
They're doing what they know. And also they're doing what's normal. But you have to look at what's working. It's not working. $3.1 trillion a year in the GDP. 1.1 trillion of that is direct cost. And we're still losing 2 million people a year. So is that working?
No.
So we're going to continue
to
spending.
Reevaluate some things clearly.
We're going to do $2.7 trillion a year. And then we're going to spend over 25% of GDP. And we're still going to do moderation or clean eating. It's not working. What works is a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. And the lifestyle has 7 characteristics, one of which is diet. But that is the predominant one. At the summit, you get all these things for free.
That's awesome. Let me put that over here. Wait a minute. I'm gonna put that so everybody can see it a little better.
Okay. So you get nutrition for kids.
So you get all kinds of resources that's going to be given to you free. Healthy
eating for life. There's recipes in all these, and these are all evidence-based by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Good nutrition, vegan starter kit.
Okay.
And the African Heritage Diet Power Plate, which shows you the plate that Dr. Helen and I were just talking about.
Okay.
There's the recipes in here.
Look at that.
So many resources. Right.
Just while you're holding that up, I think that is the biggest thing. At least I can only speak for myself. Again, we're sharing our opinions and our thoughts here. They don't always reflect that of the show or different things, because legally people be reaching out saying all kind of stuff. These are our personal opinions. Here's the deal.
No, they're facts. They're facts. But
these are facts based on research.
These are facts.
Right. Okay. Let's go back. Let me start over. Hold on. Let me get back over here for a second.
So we're not that's why I bring in physicians. We're not personal opinion.
These are real facts that are being shared today based on studies, over 7,000 studies that have been conducted. And these are the results of some of these studies. That's why these two individuals that are sharing their personal opinions is because of the facts that have been proven already pertaining to why they're doing what they're doing and why they're so passionate about it. But the free resources that are available here at this conference, you do not want to miss the opportunity to get these, because then I think this is the biggest, at least I can speak, and this is where I was getting ready to say personally too. Personally, one of the drawbacks that I've had in life, and I can only speak personally, and this is where I go to this point, and I have to put this up because this is my own personal opinion, okay? This is Kim's opinion. This is not always reflective of the show or CTR Media Network, Mother Dreamer Movement, Gabe's Heart Foundation, all of that. Sometimes my reluctance in being able to convert to certain types of theories is because I don't feel as educated as I need to be. So I feel like there's ignorance on my part. So that's why I said it's only my personal theory on this. But when I see resources that you're sharing, Dawn, it seems like all of the excuses can be wiped away. It's like, these are the facts. Come educate yourself.
Facts.
Stop making excuses and figure out a solution. So talk about that, either of y'all, from that perspective. Because let me also say this, because I need to go ahead and throw this in there too. From a Bible-based perspective, a lot of times it's like the theory is just bless your food and eat the food. And so bless your food and go about your business. Can any of you all talk from that perspective to help people like me? And I'm just using myself as a case study. So
both Dr. Helen, can you go first and talk about whatever you're going to say? And I'm going to follow up after Dr. Helen, because I think we'll be different focus. Go ahead.
Okay. Go.
Well, when I think about, people talk about the Bible, there's a couple of scriptures. One says, like, if somebody gives you food, eat it, bless your food. There's another one that talks about, where God told Peter, rise, slay Peter and eat. And I just want to just share that Peter was actually prejudiced. And so the reason that God gave him the dream with all these unclean meats, right? The reason that he gave him that dream was because he was prejudiced. And he said, listen, don't call anything that I've blessed
curse.
A bomb. Right. So that he wasn't talking about food. He was actually talking about people. And so the thing that God did is that God gave us these different foods, and he told us about, like, from the beginning, Genesis 1:29, as Dawn said before, he talks about, these are the foods that I want you to eat, things that have seeds and produce seeds. Those are the things that I want you to eat. Right. Okay. He even said that, I don't know if you saw my dog that was just in, he's a chow, a white chow. Now, my dog was Genesis 1:30, when in the beginning, God gave him the same thing he gave me to eat. So we were both foraging for the same food. He wanted fruits and vegetables, and so did I.
Right.
But after sin, people talk about paleo, and they talk about the paleo diet is the original diet. It is not. The paleo diet is the sin diet. That is the diet that came after Adam and Eve fell. And so after they fell, then Cain became the restless wanderer. And he was cursed. He had to go forage for his food now instead of the food producing from the earth as it did before. So that's one thing. So when people talk about, I can eat whatever I want, all I have to do is bless it, God will bless it, and he will make that food as healthy as it can be.
Mm-hmm.
But there are just inherent health issues with these products, right? And so we know that anything that blood, and I talk, the one thing that we talk about is that cancer is most often what we call hematogenously spread. Yes. What that means is it's spread through the bloodstream. Mm-hmm. So if there is blood in an animal, then he is more likely to carry diseases. And if you know that when you see blood vessels, it goes inside of muscles and goes all the way around it. So even if you drain the vessel here, there's still blood that's inside of that animal product. And so when I talk about, when I tell my patients, I said, if it ever had a mother, was a mother, or planned to be a mother, it is likely to carry disease. And the thing is that the FDA may be pulling off and saying, let me test this one thing, but they don't test everything that comes through the line. Right. And so you are more likely to find some things with little blood. If that animal had cancer and they decide they see the cancer, they cut that cancer off. Well, where's the blood went from that cancer and went through the rest of the body? So I eat it, what they have. And so then I'm more likely to develop it because it comes straight to me. So that's one thing. So you can bless your food, and I always bless my food, but I think that we can also be presumptive. Like, there's a thing that says, God says, in the time of your ignorance, I winked at it, right? It doesn't matter. But when you know, there's a difference, right? So that then we call that willful thing. So we're like, okay, well, I know this is going to hurt me, but I'm just going to ask God to bless me anyway.
Well, let's one thing that Maya Angelou said, I like to interrupt for 1 second, because she said that it's always good to do the best you can, but once you know better, then we should do better. So that's right. What you all are sharing, what I'm learning anyway, is that if there's a better way to just have us be able to have better health and better outcome for our lives, to have more longevity with our families and be here on this earth, then why not give some of those theories a try? Because we're learning a better way. And so I like that. Go ahead.
So I love that you say theories, but let's just be, these are facts. So we know that if you eat a whole food plant-based lifestyle based on Dr. Dean Ornish, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, Dr. Montgomery, the China study, the doctor.
And the Adventist health study as well.
And the Adventist 1 and 2, or the nurses health study, or the Harvard study. There are 7,000 studies. 7,000 of them. These are facts. And I love that you say it, but if we can we can't stand that certain people in politics give alternate facts, correct?
Right. No, I like fact-based stuff.
But we live our lives in alternate facts on our plate.
That's good. That's good.
Very good.
Okay. Because keep going, because I know we almost out of time, but this is some good stuff.
But so if we want to live by facts, then we have to be open to the idea that we're currently living in alternate facts in our lifestyle. That's right. The same thing that we despise when other people do it, we are doing that in our families and in our households. We even if you don't believe in the Bible, I saw somebody say something about Genesis 27. You can go do Leviticus, you can go through all the things, do what you want to do. If we're just talking about science, so if you want to step away from the book, the Bible, you can go to science. There are 7,000 studies that have proven that this lifestyle reduces risk factors up to 90%, is more affordable, it saves the planet, it helps humans to save their lives, and it helps to build intergenerational health. It's climate change. It takes care of so many things. with a fork. Saves you over $7,000 a year in your budget, and it reduces the national debt.
Yes, excellent.
And it saves your life.
This is great. This is great teaching, and we need a lot more of it. Some teaching to be able to, even maybe coming on and y'all doing, and you can come back, please, by all means, and maybe doing some demonstrations or something that shows us how to prepare a few things, because a lot of times, again, you can have it in a book, but until you actually take it off the page and put it into action in your home, it's a big difference. So I would love something like that too.
And the Ed Summit, the Power is Giving has year-round programs. Dr. Helen's just not coming. We want you here on Saturday. Please.
Oh yeah, let's go back. Wait. We want you here. Let me show you this right quick. Hold on. I'm gonna show y'all one more thing. One more video. You cannot afford to miss the Power is Giving EDD Summit, and we have all of the ways for you to be able. It's 11 to 3:30 in the just literally Saturday morning until early afternoon on Saturday. What a great way to kick your day off. You're going to have some food, you're going to have some recipe books, all kinds of things that are going to be right for you to take away with you. So it's going to be gifted off items and resources that'll be available to you. So make sure you scan that QR code. I saw quite a few of you say that you will be there in attendance, and I think that you're going to be in for a tremendous treat. You're also going to get to hear from Dr. Clifford Morris, and he's a hoot is what I hear. He's a fun guy to hear from. And so he's going to definitely be one of the speakers as well. All right. Any closing comments?
I just want to say this one thing. Dawn started to touch on it. There are lifestyle habits. And so we do tend to focus on the food, but there are other things. Exercise is big. You want to get out and get some sunshine. Like the vitamin D is actually converted in sunshine, like naturally there, right? You want to make sure you're drinking water. Right. You want to make sure you're deep breathing. So there are all of these other parts to it, but food is definitely 90% of what we're of the overall part, but it comes with an entire lifestyle, nothing that just is done in a vacuum. Some people say, oh, let me just drink this drink and it's going to make me healthy everywhere. It's not. If I put trash in, I just put a little bit of good. You just got a lot of some good trash. It's like somebody went in the bathroom and made a mess, and then you spray some perfume over it. There's still a mess back there, but the perfume is just covering it up a little bit.
Right. It still stinks. So it's like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Exactly.
I mean, this is a problem. Exactly. Everything that you all are saying is very helpful. And I saw quite a few of you saying you'll be there. I hope that I think it will be packed out. Now, keep in mind, there are other events that are happening as well with similar names and stuff. But this particular event that's happening, I want to make sure you know, it's the EDD Summit. And that's going to be this Saturday in Charlotte, North Carolina. And let me ask, is there a virtual component to this conference as well? Or is it only in the actual local area?
The reason I'm very intentional about, and I've been doing this since 2018. The reason I'm very intentional is because you have to taste the food. There's no thing in our community that is more powerful than the taste of good, healthy, delicious food. Animal food has no flavor because you have to season it with the very vegetables in which we say we don't want to have on our plates. So this is a plans to be it's a reach, teach, and taste conference. So you reach people, you teach them, and then you get to taste the food. So that's why we're getting 15 ounces of food for free. Well, it comes with the price of your ticket. Then you're getting recipes. We're giving away nut milk makers and juicers.
Essentially free, because $20 is not.
Right. You go to a coffee shop and you can spend that in less than 5 minutes.
Red beans and rice and collard greens and Jamaican curry chickpeas and forbidden rice. And you're getting Japanese food with orange caviar.
Like a whole meal. It's a whole meal.
It's 15 ounces. It's a pound of food.
I'm so excited. I think this is going to be an incredible conference and an educating. It's a way for us to become more educated about what our options are. That's what I believe. I think it's going to be a great a great experience. And I'm so grateful that Dee Dixon, shout out to you, Dee Dixon from Pride Magazine. You're a column. What do you do at Pride Magazine, Dawn?
I have the Vegucator column. I have a department. I'm the Vegucator department. I started the beginning of the year, and every other month I provide information on whole food plant-based, how to become whole food plant-based, and why you should do it.
Yay! Okay, any closing comment? Dr. Helen, a closing comment.
I think that we have been able to see enough research. We've seen enough of stories of people who've actually changed their lifestyle and changed their health. And nobody is here to make anybody do anything that they don't want to do. But I think the most important thing is to be able to see that there is another way.
Yes.
And that for many years we've been taught this is what we do. I grew up that way. I grew up eating meat and almost at every meal when we could afford it, right? We were eating meat at every meal. And it wasn't until later in life that I started to change that. Even before my dad got sick, I started to change it, knowing that it made me feel better. But once he went through and we found what food actually does and how it can actually help with cancer, I was like, wow, there is something to be said about this food. And to know that every chemical inside, the natural chemical inside of the food is for the health of our bodies. Yeah. And so when we look at that and decide we want to do something better, I'm tired of taking this medication, there is an alternative to it. And it doesn't have to be that I'm going to be on this medication for the rest of my life. There is something else that I can do to change my life, to change my paradigm, and to change my health.
That's so good. I just, you eloquently put that out there for us to really consider. So you did a persuasive dissertation just now, in my opinion. A very persuasive. It's like, we're not condemning anything you're doing, but just kindly consider coming and getting 15 ounces or pounds or whatever it is that's going to be served on Saturday, and give it a try and see what it can do for your thought process, how it makes you think a little bit differently. Okay, the Vegucator, tell us a closing comment.
Well, we already I think it's clear. It's just that it's important for our communities for us to engage in empowering change. We can't wait for change to come to us, and we already know it doesn't work. What's happening? There's the clean eating none of these things work. We know it. So why don't we try something different? And trying something different is not trying something different than our ancestors were doing before they got here on a slave ship, to 20 of them. Okay, they were already barely eating any animals. I want you to eat none. Why would you partly do something when you can do the whole thing? So I believe this is an opportunity to learn and empower your community and change your plate and change your life. It's just transformative. I just can't express to you that we are very misinformed. This is the miseducation of a people, and we're coming to re-educate the people.
I feel like I'm part of a movement here that's happening.
It is a movement.
I'm so excited. Y'all go to Power is Giving, powerisgiving.org/EDD Summit, or you can also visit urban, HERBAN-EATS.com. And listen, with the Kim Jacobs Show, this is one of my final comments here, is that with the Kim Jacobs Show, I know, just like you know what y'all are saying, this is a fact, not a theory, right? The Kim Jacobs Show is bringing balance to your household, one household at a time. So if you have not, or even if you have contributed, this broadcast only thrives by community contributions, just like there's PBS and TBN and whatever, all of these different broadcasts that heavily rely on community-based funding. That's what the Kim Jacobs Show is doing. So we need you to send a Cash App, whether it's $ Kim Jacobs Inc., whether you do a PayPal, which is paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. You can even do Venmo at the Kim Jacobs Show, or Zelle 704-962-7161. And sometimes people take pictures and screenshots, so y'all pose for a second, because we'll be on Facebook any kind of way. So let's pose. Mackenzie, take a picture if you don't mind. Are you able to? Can you take a picture, Mackenzie, for me? Okay. All right. Wait. She hasn't taken it. There she is backstage taking it. Go. All right. She's like, huh? She has her baby in her hand. She's like, Lord have mercy, you're working me. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning into today's episode. I know that it was extremely informative, and I see that a lot of you will be at the event this Saturday. Let's see. Someone said, thank you so much for this great show. And I say, you go, Dawn. You go, Dawn. I saw all of your comments. When you know better, we do better. And I saw people saying that I will be there. I will be there. I will be there. I will be there. So y'all go ahead and get your tickets for this amazing event. And thank you, ladies. Y'all were wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Y'all were absolutely amazing. It's been my true honor and privilege to have you here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and close out. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow on the Jacob Show. I love you all. And see you Saturday at the EDD event. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you and make it a great day.